Welcome to The Detail, the podcast that shines a light on interior design, architecture, and the business of design. I'm Stephen, and today we're joined by Sally Wallace, interior designer from West Yorkshire. And it's going to be interesting today to find out everything that makes her tick. Hi Sally, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Stephen?
I'm all right, thank you. Thank you for having us today.
It's a pleasure.
So let's start with the first question. What's your drink of choice?
Oh, that'd have to be a porn-star martini, I think.
Really?
No, actually. Well, I do quite like a porn-star martini, but no, I drink tea. Quite a lot of tea.
Good old Yorkshire tea.
Too much tea, probably, and wine.
Oh, nice. The porn-star martini, that sounds good to me. So you kickstarted your design journey because your mum used to do bridal wear, didn't she?
Yeah.
So how did that kind of influence your design? Is that basically how you got into design?
I think what it was, I mean, I used to work for mum in the bridal business on a Saturday as a teenager, but prior to that, she always used to make clothes, and she is still very creative and could turn her hand to anything really. So I grew up with that around me, but also at that. She's a very strong, independent woman, and at that time when I was growing up in the 80s, it was a time where women they had more opportunities in education and in the workplace than they used to have, and Margaret Thatcher was in power. I idolised Annie Lennox. And I just felt that. I was really quite adamant that I wanted to be a strong, independent, successful businesswoman. Doing what exactly, I wasn't sure, but I was obviously creative and quite good at art myself, so I knew that I wanted to take a form of a creative path. I quite fancied window dressing at one point, but actually training graphics.
Oh, wow.
And they said that I should have done fashion or fabric design, surface pattern. It was just that it was the broadest art-based course. So I used to go in with my sandwich at lunchtime, and the girls that in the sewing workroom used to say to me, "Oh, what are you going to do when you grow up?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to have a company car and a mobile phone." Ooh. And they were, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, but that's what I'm going to do."
Yeah.
So it's just quite funny, really. And I did. So.
Yeah, that's cool as anything. So basically, your whole ambition was to run your own business, and you knew you needed to do that, and you wanted to do it in a creative way, basically.
And I suppose my father, he had a baker's. Both my parents had their own businesses, so I grew up with that. No, definitely it needed to be something creative, and that's the path I took. Started in fashion really, but then moved into interiors. I had this thing whereby I wanted to be independent. I wanted to be have the same opportunities as men, and I was quite proud. I was a director at 30 of a big business. So I just felt I wanted to be financially independent and not have to rely on my husband or a man to support me, really.
I mean, I suppose maybe that was a bit of a sign of the times, wasn't it?
That's it. I think it was. So I researched it because my parents have been together all their lives. My dad's, he's always been supportive of my mum. They were a great relationship. I've got a very solid family background. So it's nothing to do with that. Because I questioned it with myself. So I Googled it, and the 80s was a real time where women just got, they changed legislations, and women just had far more opportunity than they used to have.
But also, I suppose it was a sign of the times, but you also had like strong role models because, like you said, your mum was already running her own business. And your dad had his, but your mum wasn't relying on your dad for hers, really. So that's fantastic.
She actually, I remember, she went back to college as a mature student to do fashion. And she used to be a hairdresser. And my brother, she got this little blue Mini, and off she went to college every day. And my brother and I were quite put out because we had to stay for school dinners. We're like, where's she gone? you know, back then it was we were a bit put out about it. Whereas now I'm really proud of her.
Yeah.
But then at the time then, and then obviously she was running her own business and it was close to home and everything. But
what did she go back to college for?
She did fashion. She did fashion.
Wow, nice.
So she'd done. She did pattern.
Right,
So she did pattern cutting, and then she went to college to do fashion, and then just started making clothes, and then a bridal business from that.
Well, I don't know if this has ever cropped up, but my mum did a very similar thing. She went back to college after she'd had or uni after she'd had us a lot. So she was a mature student. And she did fashion as well.
Oh, did she?
And she ended up having she did like some work for Roland Cartier.
Oh, wow.
Roland Cartier and Wedgwood, you know, the figurines.
Yeah.
And now she does hats.
Oh, right.
She'd love your mum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'd really hit it off, wouldn't they? Brilliant. That's really interesting.
Similar story, really.
Yeah, it is. Her influence, I suppose, with clothing. She actually dissuaded me from doing fashion. Like I said, I did graphics because there was very little industry or opportunity for jobs, so I did the broadest sort of art-based course. But I was working for her one day and was chatting to one of her customers, and she happened to mention there was a job opportunity where she worked that was clothing importers.
All right.
So I looked, applied, went for the interview, and part of the reason I got it was because of my graphic background as well, was that I had to draw quarter-scale spec drawings of garments quite precisely for them to make patterns from. You didn't do all the computer design then. So I was working in the high street, so I would briefly go to Premier Vision in Paris for the trends and collections, and then I would go to Europe and America and go to New York. I'd buy samples, present them to the customers, the likes of BHS, Littlewoods, Next, C&A, and sell. And we'd have ideas from those, and then I would go to Korea, go to the Far East, go to Korea mainly, and go around fabric markets, buying the fabrics, sketching my drawings out, and putting them into the sample line works. I'd be there for a month at a time.
Wow,
and go to factories. So the first trip I went on my own, I was 20.
Oh my God, really?
So,
I bet you were scared.
Yeah.
And did you literally just go on your own? Like, they just give you a flight and that was
it? They booked your flight, and obviously you would, they would have an office. It was a big group, so they had offices in all the different places. So I would stay in a nice hotel, and you know, I travelled well, and saw the world that way, which was really nice. But yeah, it is quite daunting, you know, doing that on your own when you're and a woman.
Yeah. So you've travelled loads for work, and you've even lived in India for a time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that those cultural experiences have influenced your approach to design or your work in general?
I think they have probably mainly influenced the way I deal with people.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And handle situations. I do have a leaning towards. I do like Oriental art, and I do like some Indian things. So you know, when I came back, I made some Roman blinds out of 2 saris.
Oh, wow.
So just little tweaks and things like that, but. I wouldn't say that my style is massively influenced by that in particular, but I'd say definitely more about how I
so for example, you're not going to start putting a lot of Chinese wallpaper
on.
But the thing is about like going to those kind of Eastern places, that they're very big on patterns, aren't they, and colour and textures. And I think, from an outsider's point of view, when I look at your work, that you're definitely into patterns, textures and colours. So
yes, I am,
think it probably has.
Well, in some ways you don't realise, do you? I suppose everything
it.
Influences that's around you.
Yeah,
so.
And also because you've got your past background in fashion, they're very, very important factors, aren't there? So I think like from a visual point of view, it's kind of give you a bit of a point of difference, really.
I think that fashion and interiors are very closely linked. Both. I mean, you'll see a lot of most people's interior. Well, your interior and your house and where you live reflects you and your personality.
Yeah.
And and it's often very similar to the way you dress.
Yeah.
Because you choose similar colours because they make you feel good for whatever reason. You resonate to certain things. So, but I do like fabric. I'm very I like things, the textures and colours and things like that. So I suppose, and I like just something with a point of difference.
Yeah.
So
you worked in fashion, so you've got a strong background in that. And then you've obviously migrated into interior design. The easy thing would have been for anyone who's already in a career, especially when they've been doing it a number of years, would be to stick to that, wouldn't they? But you obviously took the leap and stepped out of your comfort zone to go into interiors. So what was it that made you do that? Was there like a bit of a turning point? What pushed you to do it?
I think because throughout my career, I ended up, I was a commercial director for clothing importers latterly that did ladies' tailoring that supplied the top end of the high street. But I wasn't doing things that were creative. And that's what I missed. And I felt that I wanted to do things creative again. So it was more of a hobby, really. I did do small projects. I did work in my own houses and had them featured in magazines.
Yeah.
And I started my own business, Tweed Lounge, which I made. I used fabrics from Yorkshire, and they were clothing fabrics, not just tweeds, but pinstripes and things like that. And I used them in interiors, so cushions and door stops and draft excluders, throws and things like that, and sold those at Christmas fairs and what have you. And what I liked about them as well was the fact that, we're from Yorkshire. I grew up in close to the cottage weaving industry.
Yeah.
And they're in Little London in Rawdon.
All right,
there were little weavers' cottages. Oh. Actually, my mum lives in one. But yeah, it's it's nice that heritage, really.
Yeah, that makes total sense, and it's a nice little a nice excuse for why you've made that transition. Yeah, makes total sense. So when a client comes to you and they reach out and they're interested in your services, what kind of process do you go through with them? I'm assuming they come to you and they've already got an idea in the head, or do they come for you because they want ideas put in the head?
Bit of a combination, really. It depends. If they've got their own, quite often, actually, I've found it's if they've got a difficult space. And they don't really know how to approach it and what to do with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that way, I suppose. But it's important to get to know your client, and obviously you've got to stick to the brief, but it's getting to know them, know their style, and also enhance their style and take them out of the comfort zone a bit, give them other ideas and pull it together for them. A lot of people, it's the finishing touches and pulling things together.
Yeah.
And most people have certain things that they want to use, need to keep, that have to be worked into schemes.
Yeah. So. All right. Okay. Yeah. So. They're giving you the hard bit out there, like, we've got this awkward space, please sort it out for us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, it makes total sense. I said it, but I just imagined in my head that people would come to you and they'd be like, oh, we've got this white box, please just do your magic and make it work. Which I suppose is an element of it, but it's actually fundamentally because they have a problem generally, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and they're wanting to enhance, I suppose. Actually, obviously, these things cost a lot of money and they don't want to make mistakes. Yeah. And there's quite a lot of hand-holding, really. Yeah. And particularly once I've worked with a client, they've got to have confidence in you to help them. And then once they've seen what can be achieved, then, it's not just about the look of something. It's got to function right for them and their family. Hit a budget. But also, to me, your environment and your surroundings, your interiors, whether it's outside as well, has a big impact on the way you feel.
Yeah.
And I think people are now realising that is quite important, probably since COVID and how much more time people were spending in their homes, maybe.
Yeah. I think that's like a nice thing to touch on, because you can get people, can't you? It could be driven by budget, but the thing, oh, I could design it myself. I don't need an interior designer. But it's true, isn't it, that you can go out and spend a fortune on wallpaper, and then when you get back, it's not right, or you've chose the wrong colour paint, and you've paid the decorators to do it for you. And then all that money's wasted, so you probably would have been better off trying to find a professional who can guide you, help you make the right decision the first time round.
Yeah. And with kitchens as well, kitchens and bathrooms, they're very costly.
Yeah.
And obviously, you have a kitchen designer and bathroom designers, and some people don't use them, some people do, whatever, but still, it becomes part of your room and your space. It isn't just that kitchen and the function in that way and that style. It's got to be, everything else has got to pull together.
Yeah, and then the thing is, well, obviously people that specialise in kitchens, like when you go to a kitchen showroom and they can plan it for you, it's very useful, isn't it? But they're approaching it from a different angle, because their whole objective is to sell you as many cabinets and things as possible,
I suppose so, yeah.
Whereas you're looking at it as, how is it going to function, but also how is it going to look? And it's a different point of view, isn't it?
Yeah. I suppose that, not all of them, but predominantly you would think they're just purely focusing on that, the kitchen itself.
Yeah, so you're kind of like the middleman in that scenario, aren't you? Because you're planning it for them, advising, but then you can talk to that professional and you'll find a middle way, basically.
Yes, yeah.
So I read through your reviews. You've got very nice ones. Obviously, people are delighted with what you've done for them.
Thank you.
How do you toe that line between pushing people out of the comfort zones, but also making sure that they're getting what they're asking for?
I think it's about building relationships, really.
Yeah.
It's keeping them involved and showing them things so that they're ending up with something that they're expecting it to look like.
Yeah.
But also, as I say, if they've got confidence in you, it's giving them more ideas. It's giving them options of things that they would never have actually thought of, but actually do suit what they've already got, or their personalities, or the style that they already have. So it's getting that balance, really. Yeah,
because I suppose you come to it as a bit of an outsider, so sometimes you can't see things about yourself, can you?
That's very true. That's very true, because you're used to seeing something day in, day out, and then if somebody else comes in and looks at it with totally different eyes, then it's just even moving furniture around can make a big difference to a space.
So basically you're getting to know a person. And also, I didn't realise that, I just imagined that you might go off, they've come to you and said, like a blue or whatever it is. And then you do a whole scheme and come back to them. That's actually, doesn't sound like what you do. It sounds like you're kind of involving them in that process, and they are making decisions along the way guided by you.
Yeah, so I will see them and I'll have a brief, and then I always say I need to sleep on it. Go away and really, really think about things, and then I'll do some mood boards really to begin with, so that it will make sure we're going for the right look, and from there then as I say, take it from there and make sure they're happy with that. And you'll have tweaks along the way, and then start and bring all the other elements in, like the the sofas and the cushions or whatever lamps and what have you.
Do you find that budgets are a big issue? Are clients that come to you at least, very focused on the budget, or they're quite loose with it? And how do you, if you have got a tight budget, how do you make sure that you're injecting some kind of like wowness that still suits that? And do you often stray from the budget because you're allowed to, or how do you toe that line, basically?
Well, it depends on the budget. It depends on the property and everything else. I have worked on, and I do work on some multi-million-pound houses, but then I also work on. At the moment, I'm doing something which is to a real budget that I'm giving my time to for like an assisted living house.
Oh wow!
So for 3 young people that have their challenges, that a carer will stay with them there. So there are a lot of regulations involved in that, but also there's really tight budgets, and it's just making it really nice and homely for them. And there's certain colours that they obviously want and like for their bedrooms, and I've managed to get like the sofa from Home Sense and what have you. But it's using some nice prints on blinds and things like that. So some of those things they've had some from Blinds to Go and what have you. So it's not all beautifully handcrafted curtains, because not everyone can afford that. But by doing some using some nice colours and cohesive things, and cushions and art are just a winner to just pull things together and create some impact, really.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is budget doesn't equals good design. Like whatever the budget, you can buy more expensive things, but ultimately it comes down to clever design choices, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does very much so. And even on expensive projects, you can still have things in there that's from Dunelm, for example. It's not all Roma Black edition. So or Armani or whatever you want to put in there. So
every project's going to have a challenge in some way, shape, form, whether it's a tricky space or budget constraints or a client's expectations. Have you ever, or can you share like an experience where things didn't go to plan and you had to kind of put it back on track, and just share an experience about that?
Fortunately, I haven't had an issue with something that somebody's not liked that I've done and put together. Sometimes, say if something, I don't know, a decorator might do a different colour somewhere, or maybe something has been made that doesn't fit or whatever, then it's just working with the client and working with whoever, the tradesperson, whoever, to make it right. And sometimes, say for example, if something's been removed or ripped out and what you're planning to do can't be done, it's giving the customer the reason why and working around what you can do to achieve your ultimate aim, really.
So communication, relationships,
very much communication and relationships.
That's the answer to everything, isn't it? Like,
it is actually
communication skills.
It is actually. It is. Yeah,
it's a skill.
Very much so. It is. It is.
In a project, there's lots of elements to consider. And I'd just be interested to know like what your process is and where you kind of start out on that journey.
I always like to know from the customer the likes and dislikes, because some people just hate a certain colour, for example, or don't like shiny things, or don't like a certain texture. And you have to sort of try and get a feel for that and find out from them before you put something together. And also, if you look around the house and other areas that you're in the house, and you do get a feel for, and looking at them, because your clothes, as I said before, do tell a story, and you tend to choose similar things to the way you dress, because your house is a reflection of yourself, and really, isn't it?
That's really good. So like, you're very perceptive, aren't you? Like, it never occurred to me to look around someone else and be like, I mean, you kind of do it, I suppose, but I've never thought about it that way.
No.
You pick up vibes from people based on what they're dressed like and their taste, what they've got around them. So that makes perfect sense now you've said it.
And I think a lot of people have, like I do, I have pieces of art or ornaments or whatever that mean something to me. I would have, like my ginger jars I've got in my kitchen, for example. I bought those my first trip to Hong Kong when I was 20. So I've had them a long time, and they're significant. So people have certain things that give them memories and create a fondness, and it's just sort of your history and your background, really.
Yeah, that makes it home, doesn't it?
And exactly, that's what makes it home.
Yeah, I really love your style.
Thank you. You don't do bad yourself.
You're doing better. You've got great hair, nice dresses. And in fact, I remember the very first time I met you, or one of the first times before we actually knew each other. It was in a bar on a night out and a work thing. And you were there, and you were wearing like bright pink high heels. It was actually them that drew my attention.
All right.
And but basically, you stand out in a crowd visually, and that's why I noticed you. Do you think it's important from an interior design point of view to have like a signature style or an aesthetic, or do you consider it more that you are taking on board what other people want and you're trying to make it happen for them? Do you know, like, what attracts your customers to you mainly? Is it the aesthetic, that your aesthetic, or your services that you can provide them?
Well, I'm not sure really. I personally, I would think it's the services that I provide.
Yeah.
Whether they think I'm stylish or not is a different matter. I don't know. But in my opinion, I think it's very important. It's mostly important to me to create something that's personal to the client, that reflects, that suits them.
Yeah.
There's no point me doing their room like I would have mine, because it's not theirs.
Yeah.
However, it depends what the client wants, really, because some people want a designer that has a signature style and everything they do looks like that, and they roll it out into lots of people's houses and hotels, and that's what they're buying into, and that's what they want, and that's what they like. That's fine, but to me, mine's more tailored and engineered to the client. Not just the client. Yeah, it's important as the client's brief, but it's got to suit them, and them be happy in their home. Yeah. That's the biggest tick, them being really happy in their home and their environment.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose that makes sense, really. Like you said, there are some people that they're kind of buying into a style because it kind of reflects them anyway, I suppose. And with you might do that to a degree without realising it. Because I do think you've got a strong aesthetic, but obviously that customer's attracted to you because of that. But ultimately, they can see that you're going to make what they want a reality.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose, and as well, him having confidence in you. Most of my work comes through recommendation and word of mouth.
Yeah,
and I think that's the best way, to be honest.
Definitely, reputation. Yeah. Oh, we're going to ask you next about your favourite projects. Have you got a favourite project? Are you all right to answer that one? I mean, it could be your own home if that's what it is.
I don't know that I have a favourite project, actually. Probably have certain properties that I've enjoyed, that I like that property.
Yeah.
And I suppose there's a couple of projects that I've done that the customers not giving me total free rein, but they've really I've gone with something quite different, unusual, and they've really confidently gone for it. Yeah. Which is really nice, because it's just a bit more, a buzz and creative. But I do really like it when something looks different. We've changed something and it's just, they're really happy with it. And it's that, I like that, the fact that people are happy with things. Yeah,
that's your reward. Yeah, you do it for something.
Yeah, that's right.
You make people happy.
That's what that is, genuinely. I like, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah. Oh. So when I'm looking for inspiration, I generally use like Pinterest and Instagram, but I don't know if it's just down to the algorithms or just there's a lot of that out there, but a lot of things are like this kind of cool looks, or very beigey with a bit of metallic and things like that, which is nice, but it's very generic.
Yes.
How do you think? Have you found that that's a bit of a problem for you with people influenced by that kind of thing, or has it not really affected you and you've not really noticed it?
I think some people want something really clean and sleek and modern, and then you've got your Scandi look as well, and which are both really quite popular at the moment. I do try and put something a bit different in there, a bit to just have a point of difference and create some personality, because to me personally, I just think, well, what's the point in going into a room and it looking the same as what everybody else's looks like, the same as things that you wear? Why do you want to? Yes, I am influenced by trend and forecasts and what have you, but it's say if you were going to wear something, it needs to suit you. You need to like it. It needs to. So I want something that's just a bit different. I just don't want to look like everybody else.
Yeah.
And I suppose if you've got an interior designer involved, then most people do want to have something that's a little bit different, really.
Yeah.
And actually, interior designers, I think, used to be just to people that had really big budgets, or perceived for people that had really big budgets and a lot of money to spend. But I think it doesn't have to be that way. I think it should be available to everybody, really.
Yeah.
And I think more and more people are seeing the values probably in that, in the benefits in having, you know, interior designers to help them with their homes.
So what's exciting you in the world of trends at the moment? Is there like a nice texture or colour or something like that that's influenced you? And what can you not wait to see the back of?
Oh, that's a difficult one.
It can be past ones if you can't remember.
I suppose, well, I just don't do bland.
Yeah.
As far as designers are concerned and things that I like to look at, I just like things that, like I really like Sophie Robinson, for example. She's she's very colourful, mixes patterns and textures. Some of it might be a bit much for me personally in my home, but she's great fun and it lifts you, and that's those are the sorts of things that I like. And I suppose to see the back of something, yes, and maybe it would just be beige and blandness. It's fine when you're putting it with a lot of other things. But,
I mean,
just nothingness.
Place, I mean, to be honest, can you remember when grey was in fashion a few years ago and everyone loved it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Including myself. And then God, now I can't stand it just because it's just being so saturated, hasn't it, everywhere? Yeah. So, I think the beige kind of thing's going to eventually...
But it is it will, and it's the same with any all fashion, isn't it? But it's warmer though than grey. Yeah. I think that's probably because things have become more natural. Yeah. I do like, particularly if you've got a space where you've got some nice views outside, I like to bring the outside in where I can. So, you know, green has been very fashionable, very popular. I do like green.
I do, yeah.
I'm not into very deep earthy tones for some reason. I'm very much a blue person. Right. I don't know why. I obviously have that leaning. Some people really like those, and I have done schemes like that. Yeah. But, which I can, but it doesn't.
Well, it's a personal thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't float my boat person.
Yeah.
So.
Just thinking, do I like emphasis? I think I do in some situations. Like it's like even like. I suppose grey could look fantastic in some situations, I suppose, can't it? It's just... But
a lot with the beiges and the neutrals, they are nice to be used. To me, it's good to use a textural wallpaper. Yeah. Because it's softening and it's layering really, the textures.
I get that,
and tones. Yeah. That all can just look really relaxing and
a bit cosy.
Yeah. But if you just paint it beige and put some bamboo in the corner, then no.
Yes. Get an interior designer.
And just a leather sofa, then that's a leather corner sofa and a bit of bamboo and paint you all beige.
But not everyone can be an interior designer, I suppose, can it? And that's why interior designers exist. So.
But even if you do that, all you need to do is get some throws, a bit of art, some nice cushions.
Yeah, great ideas.
It can just look, so different and a hell of a lot better.
I mean, I suppose, I don't know if you offer this service, but I suppose pretend you've not got a budget for an interior designer to come in, but you've got a room that you're trying to work with, and you think it's a bit bland or it needs something, but you're not sure what. I mean, maybe a nice service would be to just give them advice. Like
I do that,
yeah. Perfect.
Like troubleshooting advice, really. Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah. So, so I'll come in and I'll do that, and then I'll go away and then do a follow-up email, and I'll probably send a few images of the types of things I've been referring to, for example. Yeah. So I do offer that service, and then people can then move from there. Some people can just work from some ideas and a conversation that they have with me. Yeah. Some people can work from a mood board and then go and source the things themselves and put it together themselves. Some people can't do any of that. They can see it and like it, and then they need me to do it. Yeah. So it's at any level, really.
Yeah, that's really good. Have you noticed a shift in clients' requirements? So are they more interested in how things are going to function, or are they predominantly in how things are going to look, or is it literally just like a mix of the two?
A mix of the two, and all individuals are different, really. Yeah. But probably most of it is, and obviously you're wanting something to look a certain way. And well, it's got to do this, because we have the dog here, and whatever those things could be. You think, well, I can't use that colour. There's lots of practical elements, particularly if it's a living space. So
So it's not like they're a separate thing, really. They're kind of very intertwined, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they are. Yes, they are, yeah.
Nice.
Sometimes, actually, some of the hardest things are, and I do like to involve, say, both parties. So, say, a lady might get in touch with me, and then after she speaks to a partner, then he doesn't necessarily like what we've been working on. It's important to have both people on board, because everyone's got slightly different takes on it as to, well, I thought we were going to do this. No, we were actually trying to achieve this. And that's actually a hard thing for me personally, which I do, managing those situations and making sure they're both happy.
Yeah, because things can quickly turn into like an argument, can't they? Between partners. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, why are we doing this? I didn't think we were having a new media wall.
Yeah. I suppose.
A media wall when we didn't have one in the first place. Oh, okay.
So when clients come to you, is it mainly because they've just bought a new home or built an extension, or they've got an architect involved and they want your point of view? What kind of stage do you typically come into that process?
It can be for all of those things, really. But actually, quite often, it would be better to be involved. It is better, and I am sometimes, but not all the time, involved with the architect, because, like, they're very clever people, but often they can design things, particularly at the moment because there's so much glass. They don't really think of how a window could be dressed. So, and I know it doesn't want to be all, when I say dressed, I don't mean flags and tails, but there's so many of these big apex windows in bedrooms and things, and
the practicalities are how they're going to get up there.
Yeah, and they don't know that remote blinds are very expensive, that they would need. Yeah,
and also if, for example, if you need electric blinds, you've got to have the wire in there.
Exactly.
It needs to be thought about at that kind of point, doesn't it?
And I did a curved window, some curtains in a big curved glass window, and there had to be there were pillars to support the structure.
Yeah.
And there was hardly any room to get a curtain track round. So unfortunately, I had to do with certain headings that we could get it, so we could get the curtains round. Just little things like that.
Because they're kind of coming from a different point of view, aren't they? Of course they are. And so,
you can really think, okay, well, and if we'd have had it like that, we could have taken it all away. I'm having to do a separate blind.
Yeah.
There's just bits like that.
So it's kind of like you're having to kind of work it out after the fact rather than it being thought about in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, going back to like the architects and things. Because, for example, they are obviously designing a space, but they're not necessarily taking totally... I mean, some do, I don't know, but they might not be taking into consideration, or they've got this piece of furniture that they really want to keep, where's it going to go, So if you were involved in...
They might not, and the client may not have told them either. Yeah. There is a lot of that.
So your interior design services would be a nice bridge between the two, wouldn't it?
It is really, yeah. And even at the start, it doesn't mean to say you don't have a massive amount of involvement. You have some, and then you come back to it. Unfortunately, on the last stage of the soft furnishings and interior design, a lot of people run out of budget.
Yeah.
So as we all know with builds, they always cost more than you anticipate, and there isn't much left in the budget to then do what you want to do. So sometimes you then compromise with certain things, or you just decide to do things in stages and get it right and what you really want.
Yeah, that's good advice. Do you often work alongside architects? And is it an awkward conversation with them, or are most of them usually quite receptive to what you've got to say if you are involved?
Most of them are quite receptive, and again, it's about how you approach things in relationships, and with decorators and everybody really. They do. Architects probably not so, but say with trades, and I think certain decorators, they'll say to a client, "Oh, well, no, I don't know what you're doing that for," and they'll give their opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everybody's got an opinion, and that's fine. But then I'll say to my client, "Well, you've asked me to give you my advice, and I'm giving you this advice. I'm telling you, no, not to do that. But certainly if it's a practical thing, all well and good. But to advise on colour
Yeah.
No.
And the thing is, they don't know the broader scheme, do they? So how
they
can
don't know the broader.
Yeah.
They don't know the broader scheme. But yeah, on a technical front, on a practically, fair enough. But it is a bit funny sometimes. But I'm really quite. I get on with everybody, and I quite easily deal with people at all walks of life.
Yeah.
So it's just
communication
skills and how you approach.
I mean, I've found that with some tradespeople, obviously you occasionally drop on brilliant ones, don't you?
Yeah.
That are, like totally into it and they know exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, they think you're just waltzing in and with what you're trying to create and design, you don't know the technicalities around certain things. So they sort of think, oh God, we've got another blooming designer here. They don't know what they're talking about.
Or you're making life difficult for them.
Making life difficult for them, but it's trying to get that balance really.
Yeah.
And because I'm not a designer that's like that.
Yeah.
I'm very down to earth and very practical.
Yeah.
So, and I do listen to advice.
Yeah.
If someone's saying to me, we can't do that, then I'll work with them and look at how we can get round it to make sure we've got what we want at the end of the day.
Yeah. Every designer has a different business structure, basically, especially around pricing structures and things like that. Some people purely charge for the time. Some people might make a commission on products that end up in the project. What's your view on that, and how does your pricing structure work?
Yeah, it's difficult really, because they do say not to charge for your time, and it should be like a package. You offer this service and that's how much it is. So I do that. I'll have like a couple of packages, and what would be included. So like an appointment and feedback and mood boards, or more that's needed. So like 2 groups really. But then often you will have follow-up things after that.
Yeah.
So I do tend to charge them for my time. I think the negative with doing that is that people can think, well, I don't understand. I haven't ever had a problem with it though.
Trying to justify.
But to justify and think, well, how can something take a certain length of time? Well, you spend a lot of time. I have a lot of sleepless nights, but you spend a lot of time thinking around things, and you're researching and pulling things together. So there's a lot that happens until you get to that end.
Yeah, and it takes time, like you said. And
so
obviously, if you didn't charge for time, you need money at the end of the day. It's a business, so. But
I do try my best to. So I don't run away with things and just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
I'll get to a point and say, right, is this? Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
And not do any more until. So I'm quite conscious. I'm quite conscious of that. I don't. It's very important to me. I think I don't want people to feel that they're being overcharged for something. I want them to feel that they've got good value for money and a good service, and that I'm supportive. So I'm always there at the end of a phone as well. So and I do think, as I said, it should be available to everybody really. It doesn't have to be a really expensive. It doesn't have to be really. Don't all have to have Missoni and Fendi in the house. So.
Obviously, if you're keeping on top of trends, then I suppose you're naturally interested in new products and new suppliers and things like that you might want to include in the future in your projects. How do you go about finding those products and people that can supply them? Do you go to like trade shows, or is it like have you got a technique for that, or do you just stumble across them? And also, is it quite difficult to get those trade accounts with people, or because you're already in the industry, you can generally quite open them easily?
I mean, I do have certain ones that I'll use quite often.
But,
So, and as far as trends and things are concerned, as we all look at Instagram and Pinterest, and I actually like magazines.
Yeah,
I love a magazine because, like you're saying, algorithms and everything else. It's the way it's presented to you.
Yeah.
With that, I'm coming across things that it doesn't know that I'm interested in. I'm coming across things that I'm like, oh, that's quite interesting. That's quite nice. So magazines, trade fairs, and if I'm sourcing or needing something, then I'll network of people I know to ask to find.
Yeah.
But there are certain places that tend to know to go for things.
That's good then. I know that you've been in quite a few magazines, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get in the magazines, and are they paid ads, or are you just naturally getting word of mouth? Or?
No, they're not paid ads. I think it's just sort of did them really to try and promote myself.
Yeah, but you were approached, weren't you, by the magazines?
Yeah. So it started because I did my tweed lounge.
Yeah.
I had an interview, and from that, then I then started showing my houses really.
Yeah.
And when they first asked me, I said I was a single mum, you know, I just lived in a terrace house. Oh no, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be in a big palatial home to have interest. Well, because everybody lives in a house, don't they? Well, exactly, so you can decorate in any sort of way you like. So anyway, yes, it went from there. And then the journalist, she just used to say, whenever you move or whatever, you know, I'll come and do a feature on your house. So it's just to sort of try and promote and help my business, really.
Yeah, but it's also doing them a favour because they need content, and you're providing very nice content. Yeah, you've got nice visuals. I think, and you're an interesting story as well, coming from your background to where you are now, and so makes sense. So you're becoming like a bit of a local spokesperson for interiors, really, aren't you? Yeah, so using you, that's great.
So.
And I've seen some of the pictures, like your terrace house looked amazing, so no wonder they wanted to be involved in that.
Oh, thank you.
So when you're working on a space, obviously interior design doesn't just involve, like you said, wallpapers and cushions and things. Obviously there's an element of that, but a lot of it's to do with what kind of doors you might end up with, and staircases and practicalities of things like that, and building regulations, for example. So do you come across like situations where you have to start delving into building regulations of things, and how do you overcome that? Because it can be a complicated field. Do you tend to just rely on, you go straight to the people that know that industry and rely on their advice, basically?
Because it's, like I say, it's a bit of a minefield. And really, there's not as much with what I do. It's not as, you know, I'm involved in elements of it, and there's certain things that you just know. No, I mean, like this thing we're doing at the moment with this house, you can't have any light fittings that hang down, for example.
Oh, right.
But I mean, I would never have known that.
Yeah.
But no, I've been sort of, helped and advised.
Yeah.
So.
But that's great. I mean, that's when trusted relationships.
For safety reasons, really, yes.
Like trusted relationships with suppliers that you've got to know, because you go to certain people because they know the stuff, don't they?
Of
like
course.
People coming to you because you know your stuff. So if you can rely, like for example, we do fire rated doors, and we get a lot of interior designers that come to us, and they know they've got to be fire rated because they've heard it somewhere.
They need it, so they're coming to
We're providing them with the advice, and so that's why they return to us.
Yeah,
basically.
of course.
So it's exactly the same for you, I suppose, isn't it? So is there a type of project that you'd love to take on that you haven't yet? Like something interesting, like a restaurant or a private jet?
Private jet?
Yeah.
I haven't thought about doing a private jet. That sounds very exciting. Something, not that I wouldn't do a restaurant or whatever, but I think I prefer more personal spaces, but something like a houseboat or something like that would be quite good. Yeah.
I love that. And if you could make your own dream home, what would it look like?
Crikey. Well, I prefer old property. Old property has got character. This isn't an old property, but it ticked all the boxes for what we needed in a home. But I'd like an old property and then have some sort of quite a modern glass annex.
Yeah.
So that would be fairly modern, and then the rest of it being. I like to mix quite modern and old together.
Yeah, you like a contrast.
Yeah, I do, and you can do that a lot more easily in an older house.
Yeah.
In a newer house, it's very hard to do that.
Yeah.
It's much harder to do that.
Because they tend to not have as good architectural detail, don't they? Carving and high ceilings and things, I suppose.
No. It's strange. You can, you know yourself, if you move house, you might have something that you love. You move house and you go into that house, it just totally looks wrong.
Yeah.
And And it's a shame in a lot of ways because you might really, really like something, but yeah, it's a bit difficult sometimes. But no, I would have something like that, and quite a lot of timorous beasties wallpaper and things like that probably.
Yeah, very nice.
And if I could afford a few Fornasetti plates.
I don't really know much about Fornasetti. I've heard
I love Fornasetti.
Oh, tell me about Fornasetti then.
They have been videoed. No, I just love their things and their style, and it's just a bit quirky and a bit edgy. That's why I like it, really.
Yeah.
Cole & Son use a lot of their design in the wallpapers.
Oh, is Fornasetti like the plates with the faces?
Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, they are cool.
Yeah.
So that's one of your favourite kind of designers.
I remember going to Venice and we walked into this department store and they had a Fornasetti exhibition.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh my God. And they had just the faces on, on the balconies and things like that. It was amazing.
Oh, they are really cool, them plates, aren't they? I mean, I don't know much about Fornasetti apart from the plates because they're very famous for them, aren't they? I'm going to have a Google when I get home and look into them. Yeah, so that's nice. Yeah, but I think that does reflect like a lot of your work that I've seen because you were all about like something a little bit quirky.
I do love Timorous Beasties.
Yeah.
They're two designers from trained in Glasgow. And Timorous Beasties prints are amazing. I don't know if you're aware of those.
No,
but Timorous
Beasties
is great. Out. Yeah, design house. Yeah.
Well, if you do get there, invite me. I want to come see it.
Of course I will.
Where can people find you if they want to get in touch? Have you got a website?
Yes, I've got a website.
Yeah, what's that?
Sally Wallace Interiors. So, yeah. You can get in touch with me through there. Yeah, there's an email connection there.
Yeah, and you've got different packages for different types of clients.
Yes.
So there's some. If they've got something they want doing, there's something that you can do for them.
Yeah, of course. I tailor make something to fit what people's requirements are.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much.
No, thank you. It's been lovely to speak to you. I'm sorry about the dog.
Oh, don't worry. So thanks for listening to The Detail and watching us. It's been great to hear from Sally. Sally Wallace Interiors. We'll have all her contact details in the show notes. And it's been brilliant to learn her insights from an interior design perspective working in West Yorkshire predominantly, although she also works nationwide. Thanks again. Hope to see you on the next one.